Today we're going to find out two things using a digital sound level meter. One, we're going to find out which of these fans is the quietest 12-inch fan in my collection. Two, we're going to find out how the Rowenta Turbo Silence Extreme fan stacks up against some vintage 12-inch fans from the 70s and 80s. Should get interesting. We will test these individually one at a time, starting with a Rowenta fan, work on down the line, and hopefully end up with a winner. Let's get started. Okay, so we're going to start by testing the Rowenta fan first. And I've got the meter here set up on top of this box, and we'll have it angled towards the back of the fan, pretty much like that, somewhere thereabouts. So we've got our height control here, although there's probably going to be, well, there's definitely going to be some variation between the height of the fans. We may have to adjust accordingly for that, but anyway, we're going to start by using this box to set the meter on, and then we'll set our distance. I decided 8 inches seems pretty good, and we'll set 8 inches from where the motor housing meets the rear guard. We'll have the front of the meter 8 inches from the fan, angled towards the back of the fan like that. And we're going to use the minimum setting on the meter, which will record and hold the lowest decibel reading that it records. It'll display that. So I want to start the fan. So our noise level is high enough that it's not going to take a low reading from that. So just leave it on the turbo setting, I guess, first. We'll turn on the meter. Set it for our min. Right now it's recording a minimum decibel readout of 60 on the turbo boost. So we'll turn it down to the silent night mode. We're at 36.1. And these fans are rated at 38 decibels, so it would seem to be even quieter than what it's rated for. 36.1. And I'll go ahead and write that down for reference. And then we'll work from left to right. We'll start with the Sanyo, then go to the Panasonic, the Northern Air, and finish with the patent fan. And I'll kind of introduce these fans too as we're moving along. Next up is the Sanyo 12-inch dynamic wide oscillating fan from the early 70s, early to mid 70s. I don't think this is going to end up being the quietest fan, but it is pretty quiet, and I thought it was worthy of putting it in the contest. So I've got a meter set here, and I'm going to have to adjust the setting on that, but we'll set got our distance set here at approximately 8 inches. The box is going to work for this one because this fan is more or less the same height as the Rowenta fan. So let's get this fan turned on. We'll start it on speed 2. And now set it for our minimum readout. On the medium speed, we're at 47.1. So we'll drop it to low speed and see how low it can go. 38.3. Write that down for reference. Pretty quiet. Not quiet enough, but still pretty quiet. All right, moving on to the next contestant. Okay, next up is the Panasonic Panacycle oscillating hassock fan. They call it a hassock fan. It's 3-speed fan. It's quite a bit shorter than the other two fans, or the first two fans, so I used a smaller box for this one, shorter box. And we've got our distance set here, 8 inches. Angle looks about right, so we'll start this on speed 2, and then we'll set our minimum. Put this on the min setting. So on medium speed, we're at 41.3, and let's drop it down to speed 1 and see how quiet it can get. $36.4. Very, very close, but no cigar. 36.1 is the number to beat for the Rowenta fan. Shocking developments here. Close, but no cigar. All right, moving on to the Northern Air fan. Next up is the Northern Air fan from the early 80s. This is a Korean-made fan. Sunbeam being the parent company, I believe. I know this to be a very quiet fan. Gets a little rattly at times. The plastic kind of gets a little buzz to it sometimes because it's so brittle. But otherwise, I know that when it's running right, when it's running smooth, it's a very quiet fan. Definitely worthy of the contest. So got it plugged in over there. Went back to the other box now that we used for the first two fans. Set our 8 inches distance. Angle looks to be about right. We'll set this on medium speed. Set our min. And we'll drop it down to low and see how low she goes. Holding at 35.0. So that's a winner so far. We've got one more contestant, but so far the Northern Air is winning. That is a relief. So I'll write that down for reference, and we will move on to the next one. Alright, next up is the Patent Designer Series fan from 1986. This is a Sanyo rebadge. Fan plugged in over there. Meter is set. Verify our 8-inch distance. Turn the fan on medium speed. we'll set the min on our meter here. So medium speed, right about 44.4. Drop it down to low. $38.3. I expected this one to be a little quieter than that, but that's interesting because it's exactly the same number as the other Sanyo fan, 38.3. At least they're consistent. I think those fans are about 10 years apart too. So, all right. All right, so that concludes our face-off battle between the quietest 12-inch table fans. Pretty interesting results here. We started with the Rowenta fan, and that one tested extremely quiet at 36.1, about 2 decibels lower than it was even rated for. It's rated at 38 decibels. At least that's what they advertise, and this one turned out to be even quieter than that. So that made me a little nervous to start because I didn't really think that we were going to find one that would test quieter than that. Then we went to the Sanyo Dynamic Wide fan on the left, tested at 38.3. And then the Panasonic, the Panacycle fan, was very close to the Rowenta 36.4. The Rowenta was 36.1. Panasonic was at 36.4. And then the sleeper, the Northern Air, tested at 35.0. So that one takes first place as the quietest fan in my collection anyway, for the time being. 35.0. The Rowenta was second place, 36.1. The Panasonic took third place at 36.4. And then the Sanyo and the Patent fan tied 38.3. They came up with the exact same decibel reading, two Sanyo fans, 38.3. Interesting results. But the Rowenta, turns out, is not the quietest fan. Probably not the most powerful either, but it's definitely a very good fan. Definitely very quiet. Quieter than I was expecting it to be. I didn't think that it would be quieter than the Panasonic. I didn't think that it would be quieter than a lot of fans that I have that it turned out. It is quieter than those. It's quieter than I gave it credit for. It's probably more powerful than I gave it credit for too. Pretty interesting to see a modern table fan of this kind of quality that can stand in here with these guys and fit in, dare I say. Till next time, thanks for watching.